This early morning, let's supercharge your productivity by unlocking the flow state with meditation. We're going to begin by shattering the myth of focus. Focus is just a synonym for concentration, and concentration is an act of rigidity and controlling tendencies where we say, I choose to receive one thing, the thing of my choosing, and everything else can go fuck off. That has nothing to do with flexibility. That has nothing to do with being laid back. It is the opposite of yin. It is the opposite of matriarchy. It is the opposite of being like Qui-Gon Jinn. It is parts and parcel of the rigidity and controlling tendencies of Yang, or patriarchy, or you guessed it, Darth Sidious. And on this path, we choose not to be Darth Sidious, we choose to be, you guessed it, Qui-Gon Jinn. Going with the flow is the opposite of concentration. It is the embodiment of being laid back and flexible. And if you were like me, raised to be a fearful control freak, that would seem like suicide. And yet the greatest geniuses, the true geniuses, swear by it. In fact, good old Albert Einstein used to say that creativity was intellect at play. And so a look at even Einstein's life will reveal that amongst the intellectual super geniuses, flexibility and spontaneity play a role. So what is centered spontaneity? It is the midpoint between the two toxic extremes of complete contrivance and being buttoned down and being rigid and being controlling and being utterly, completely scattered. The dark side of spontaneity. But if spontaneity has a dark side, then that infers it has a light side. And what is the light side of spontaneity? Centered spontaneity. And that is exactly what we generate when we practice the Buddha's style of meditation. And it is based, ironically enough, it is based in contemporary neuroscience to a surprising degree to a system of practice that was founded at the cusp of the Iron Age. So here's how it works. Every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system, which has not evolved for active concentration, but which has indeed evolved to merely perceive, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. So during our inhalation, we are wired to notice perceptions, such as sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. But that's not all. We are also wired to notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. That begs the question, what are we to do with that which we notice? Simple. We meditate. But how do we do that? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. In fact, it could be said that mental release is the kid on the surfboard surfing the wave of physical relaxation. But perhaps I'm being fanciful. This is the key, the byproduct of this is that the more we do this, the less the amygdala region of our underbrain lights up, and the more the anterior cingulate gyrus of our midbrain lights up. The less we live from fear, the more we live from empathy, which truly is the birthright of every healthy vertebrate life form on this planet. As a fringe benefit, we find ourselves living more and more, not only from a place of centered spontaneity, but for centered spontaneity to become our default mode. Now, here's the icing on the carrot cake of life. The more our choices and our utterances and our deeds act like ducks on the lake of centered spontaneity, the more things work out for us, the more we become the people that our dogs already think we are. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you in about a minute. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of this channel's patrons on Patreon. Bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Lastly, good news. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, type your question in great detail in the chat window. If you're watching on a laptop or a desktop, that chat window will be on the right-hand side of your screen. If, however, you're watching on a smartphone, it'll be on the bottom of the screen. By the way, this is my side monitor because high tech. Let's see. Let's together, as a team, chant the Sunday morning excerpt from the final meditation manual of Dzapal Trul Rinpoche, whose title is sometimes condensed to Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. What can you say about years, months, or days? Look how things change every moment right now. Each moment that passes brings you closer to death. Now this very moment recite the six-syllable mantra. As your life runs out like the setting sun sinking away, death closes in like the lengthening shadows of evening. Now what is left of your life will vanish as fast as the last fading shadows. There is no time to waste, recite the six-syllable mantra. The six-syllable mantra, though perfect as Dharma, is fruitless recited while chatting and looking around. And to cling to the number recited is to miss the point outright. Undistractedly watching the mind recite the six-syllable mantra. Just had a brainstorm. Let's try this out real quick and see how well it works. Do bear with me. I'm going to hit pictures, Buddhist yoga, Chenrei Sikh, money. There we go. Let's see how well this bad boy works. Let's hit, copy. If you check your mind over and over again, whatever you do becomes a perfect path. Of all the hundreds of vital instructions, this is the very quintessence. Fusing everything into this one single point, recite the six-syllable mantra. So I think it could be great fun If we go back here and add a neuroscience image, because that's how I roll. Let's go to N, let's go to neuroscience, let's go to the autonomic nervous system right here. Copy and paste. Let's go over here and make it look pretty. And hit save. Wow, wrong button. Okay, let's try that again. Excellent. We are returning to pictures and Buddha Yoga and Chinrei Zieg and Mani and Copper. And thank you for your patience. Now, at long last, we return to our primary text. Ting Tong Gyalpos. All-pervading benefit of beings, the recitation and meditation of the Great Compassionate One, translated from the Tibetan into French by Bokar Rinpoche, and translated from the French into English by Christian Boucher, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Let's begin by exercising the neural pathways responsible for both empathy and enthusiasm. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. We're going to contemplate the iconography of the archetype of enlightened compassion. For doing so supports our contemplation of the 8 figures of speech, the 8 metaphors. Together. Above myself and all beings of the universe appears a white lotus and moon disk. So this first line serves to gather our energy to the highest point of our energy body, our crown. Doing so not only helps us train in the channels, winds, and drops of Anu Yoga, also known as Tikle, also known as Bindu Mahamudra, it also creates the causes for an auspicious rebirth, according to some. Personally, I find the greatest cause for auspicious rebirth being Ati Yoga. Let's continue. All whom the Sura Buddhi from which appears a noble Chinrei Zieg, his clear and wide body emits 5-colored rays. Ooh, okay, will that work? Yes, it will. He smiles, looks upon us with compassion. Of his 4 hands the inner 2 all joined. Of the outer to the left holds a crystal mala, Of the outer to the right holds a crystal mala, and the left a wet lotus. Garments and jewels adorn him, a discon of light covers his shoulder. To his back an immaculate moon disk, he embodies the essence of all refuges. He sits in the Vajra posture, the Buddha of limitless light crowns his head. So we come now to 4 lines that are typically part of a bowing practice. Some people bow superstitiously, thinking it purifies their bad karma and increases their good karma. However, Those who practice the path of yin, when we bow, we do so because it's invigorating, it feels great, and it's free. My nickname for this is geriatric step back squat thrusts for aging fitness freaks. One of my students simply calls it enlightened fitness. This is completely optional, but you're welcome to join me if you want. So, quick like a bunny. Okay. Oh! Okay, here we go. More white in color, unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning your crown. You look upon beings with eyes of compassion. Chin raised, we bow to you. Lord white in color, unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning your crown. You look upon beings with eyes of compassion. Chin raised, we bow to you. Lord white in color, unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning your crown. You look upon beings with eyes of compassion. Chin raised, we bow to you. Whew. Okay. Well, as they said in the movie Braveheart, that'll wake you up in the morning. We now prepare for mantra meditation. After reciting without distraction the body of the noble Chenrezig immense light, after reciting without distraction, it is as if the body of the noble Chenrezig immense light. The light dissipates over experiences of un momentum, a memento. The light dissipates over experiences of jealousies, karmic appearances, and pride's erroneous understanding. May the outer world become as safe as the real or imagined pure land of bliss. With each inhalation, may the body, speech, and mind of beings become as healthy, peaceful, and joyful as the body, speech, and mind of the archetype Lord Chenrezig.